So this has been in the works for a little while.
How long do you think it takes guys to buy into new things in baseball?
Well, this has definitely been a project that's taken over 2 years to get to this point. So whether it's one off season, a full season, 2 off seasons, that tends to be just the time scale for guys to maybe not just buy in, but also for us to help make the adjustments to make it playable, actionable on the field for them. So a lot of guys will test stuff behind the scenes, but they won't take it to the field necessarily until it's really dialed in for them. So
For you personally, what kind of moment is this for you in baseball history? You know how baseball has been in the past. So.
There's a lot more cameras here today than I'm used to. I'm used to the one walking behind all of this, and someone else is standing here. It's definitely been surreal for the last couple days. At the end of the day, it's about the batter, not the bat. It's about the hitters and their hitting coaches, not their hitting implements. So I'm happy to always help those guys get a little bit better, but ultimately it's up to them to put good swings on good pitches and grind it out every day. So credit to those guys.
But still, in the history of baseball, there's not a lot of change when it comes to baseball equipment, but here you are at the forefront of maybe the most important object.
You mentioned how long it takes to be a buy-in on this. Really, it's credit to the players that had the conversations with me 2 years ago and were willing to be patient zero and to demo the first versions of this maybe as early as 2023, and then in that off season, and then in 2024. And so it's really been those guys that have helped develop this more than anything. So credit to those guys.
In 2023, when you guys were demoing it, who was at the front with you? Which guys were giving it a shot?
Honestly, I'll let the players always talk about their own experiences. I'm not going to drag anyone into this that doesn't necessarily want to be dragged into it. But there were definitely guys on the major league side and on the minor league side in 2023 that were definitely asking me questions and offering design advice and demoing them. And then it's a feedback loop, right? There's many different makes and models that have gone through this process, some of which never saw the field of play, and some of which are obviously hitting a lot of home runs right now.
I got a question. So there's a nickname going around the league. I don't know if you've heard it, but they're calling you Torpedo, and I just want to get your on that nickname.
Well, I appreciate the question there, Stowie. You don't get to pick your own nickname in this business. So I thought it was Lenny there for a little bit, but apparently now it's El Torpedo. So I'll take what I can get.
The way Jazz Chisholm described it today on Twitter was, you just move the wood from the parts you don't use to the parts you do. Is it that simple?
I think that's actually a really, really accurate description of it, very short and to the point. So I would go with that, yeah.
Why did it take so long to think of this? For all the smart people in baseball for so long.
All I can say is I was one of those smart guys for so long that grew up swinging those old, weird-looking bats as well, right? And it's not until now that maybe anyone really thought about this, myself included. So you show up every day, you put the glove on you're given, you swing the bat that you're given, you put the spikes on you're given, and you go about your day as best you can. And every now and then it takes a little bit of time to question what you're doing. And so a couple years ago, some of the hitters started questioning what they were doing, and I just kind of responded to their questions.
When was the idea born?
Early in the off season leading up to the 2023 season. And the off season and the spring training of the 2023 season is when really the hitters and the hitting coaches started asking questions about the bat they were swinging. I think the eureka moment really was when players pointed to where they were trying to hit the ball, and they noticed themselves that was not the fattest part of the bat. They noticed themselves that the tip was the fattest part of the bat, and then everyone just looks at each other like, well, let's flip it around. It's going to look silly, but are we willing to go with it? And at the end of the day, you found guys that were willing to go with it. So I would say that was really the moment. I don't know, the bat industry is a free for all. They all copy each other. So in terms of legal details, I don't know, have to talk to the lawyers about it.
Aaron, where are the guys here in Miami telling you about it? The players here in the Marlins, and maybe when can they expect to be swinging those torpedoes now?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the big goals here is to be as innovative and on the leading edge of things as we possibly can be, and this is certainly something that we're going to look to be on the leading edge of. It's just been a quick off season for everyone, a lot of turnover and everything like that, so we're getting ramped up right now with it. You'll see them on the field here in a couple weeks or a month or so, but definitely something you'll see here.
Have guys on the Marlins kind of come up to you saying that they want to use these bats, or has it been you going up to them?
There was already a lot of conversation about it even before this moment. The industry as a whole Cole was probably a little bit more aware of this maybe than you guys were. A couple months ago, into this off season actually. So guys have been asking me about it. Guys have been wanting to swing them, maybe demoing a couple of them anyway. So that's kind of where we're at with it, and we'll grow it from here.
Coach, I guess Stanton used it in the postseason last year. Why didn't we hear about it so much? Was it kind of like?
A lot of players have used them over the years, and they don't necessarily want to draw attention to themselves, and it's not really my business to draw attention to it either. I respond to any player's requests, whoever they are, and definitely help them with whatever needs they have, whether it's equipment needs or data analytics, training, anything like that. So it's just one of those things where if the players want to discuss something publicly, they can. If you guys want to ask them about it, you can. And people chose not to discuss it or not to ask them about it.
This may be a really dumb question, but to your knowledge, was this part of the reason you think why the Marlins hired you? Was that part of the conversation?
I think trying to be innovative, trying to be on the leading edge is something that a lot of people here in the Marlins value, and a lot of people on the staff do. It's really not just me. This is just kind of the moment that I'm here sitting in front of the camera, to be honest. But there's, your point, why this was a 2-year project and it went unnoticed until today. So there's a lot of people doing a lot of great stuff behind the scenes that you might not notice ever. And if you do notice it, you might not notice it for a couple of years. It'll be having positive impacts on the field, but it might go under the radar for quite a while. So,
Two more questions.
So yes, to your question, but at the same time, it's certainly not just me.
Your background, physics professor, electrical engineering, what type of math are we thinking here, and who from that past life maybe have you heard from?
Lot of text messages from a lot of old colleagues. They're really excited about it. I think they're mesmerized about how the world of data analytics, physics, math, etc. can have such a positive impact on the game of baseball and generate so much excitement. So it's been a lot of fun for those guys who really supported me to get here.
Do you think it's been a dangerous in 23 or last year?
There were definitely some major league players that swung it in the big leagues in 2023, as well as some minor league players that swung it in real baseball games in 2023, and then it just kind of built up throughout 2024 and until what it is today.
Why do you think it's taking off now?
Just takes some kind of to the point that I addressed earlier. Just takes time for guys to get comfortable with it. Time for guys to tweak the designs to their liking. These guys have very dialed-in swings, and they're very in tune with their own equipment. And if version 0.0 is good but not good enough for them, then we try version 1.0, 2.0. And honestly, I don't even know what version we're on right now. But that's the reality at the highest level. Is it takes maybe that long to go through that many iterations.
Perfect version of like the scientific method type of thing. You keep trying stuff until you get to the.
I think the best players view it that way, and they're willing to experiment with it and provide the necessary feedback for me to give them a better bat in the short-term future, right? And so that's been a really fun experience.
Does your mind work like there's always people that are trying to improve on everything? Does your mind actually always work like that? And you talk about the switch to baseball.
I think you have to be really happy with whatever level of success you're currently having, but as soon as you rest on your laurels, there's some kid that passes you by, right? So I would say that's how I tend to think. So really excited that we're 3-1 right now, but we're definitely pushing for more, and really exciting these bats are doing well, but we're also pushing for more in a lot of other areas.